Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and as the international break is slowly but surely coming to an end, the regular content will slowly surely return to the old channel, as I've enjoyed the last week just to recover, reset, recharge the old mind and get into the old end of season shenanigans, which I imagine will have loads of ups and downs, hopefully more ups than downs. But we've had a wee bit of fun with the career mode over the last couple of weeks, but now there is something that's been on my mind, and I wanted to take just a couple of days just to recharge the mind before getting in to the old nitty gritty bit. There is something that's festering in the grey noggin, and I want to discuss it right here on this channel with you guys to see what your thoughts and opinions are, to tell me that I'm probably all wrong. But I want to talk about the Spfl and why I think it's a complete mess. If you do enjoy these types of videos, or even enjoy the channel as well, by the way, as I haven't mentioned it for the last couple of weeks, we are trying to reach 60k before the end of the season, so any support would be greatly appreciated by either hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button, or, if you don't mind, hitting both. That would be incredible. But I want to talk about the Spfl because it's been something that's maybe a glaring issue that we all see in that, but for me it's getting progressively worse, and it's as they're starting to discuss now about new broadcasting deals with elsewhere, other companies starting to come into the old football market, the amount of money they could be pouring in looking to make an impact, the fact that we've signed our soul to 2029 with Sky Sports with a horrendous deal, tying us in that strangling in life is Scottish football, and the actual product itself on the actual park. There's a lot right here on the noggin, because to me the Spfl has never been worse than it currently is right now when you take the old firm right out. Yeah. Now, I'm dressing the elephant in the room. Yes, I am a Rangers fan, so there's probably going to be a wee bit of Rangers bias throughout today's video, and I'm probably going to be biased from looking at it from that perspective. Not that I'm trying to be biased, but it's probably in there because, again, I eat, sleep and breathe this football club, and I've done it all my days since my dad took me to my very first game when I was far too wee, and my mum was fuming at him for actually doing it. People, it's been ingrained since that day, and it's sitting here, right? But I will try and be as fair, and I will try and look at all the other counter arguments, and I think the best way to start this video off and start, because there is a lot to talk about, and the only thing I ask you guys who are tuning in to watch the video, hear my thoughts and opinions, and then say it. Didn't say something at the start that annoy, because I'm going to try and counter and speak about all the points. But let's talk about the most glaring one, and the one that comes up right away whenever you try and have a conversation about Scottish football, the failings of Scottish football, how to try and improve Scottish football. The moolah, people, the money aspect has to come into play, because yes, if you take the old firm out of this league, there is absolutely no money anywhere for anybody, people, and the golfing class between the old firm and the rest of the league is there to be seen. It's massive, and it's unfair to expect the other teams to be able to compete and battle and really go at it and overcome the old firm obstacle. Sorry, it's just never ever going to happen because of the golf and finances that's available to us too and the rest of the old league. Again, I've got all the sympathy in the world, but that's always been the actual case, maybe apart from about 30 years ago when Aberdeen was swinging and getting in amongst it. But it's been a two-horse race for a very long time, people. But where my sympathy goes to them, and again, I understand there is a golf and finances and everything like that, my sympathy has started to wane just a little bit over the last couple of years when I look and I hear that counter-argument constantly, people, because I sit back and I think, well, why is there no money in this league, people? Because the TV deals are horrible, the guys in charge are horrible, and they're keeping us backwards. But and then I think to myself, wait, Rangers and that put forward a thing to get a full investigation to look into these lads to make sure they're maximising the chances they have to increasing and improving this league. Rangers put that forward. They wanted to look into Mr. 400 grand a year, clearing 400k a year whilst holding Scottish football on its absolute knees. And what happened? They were laughed at the building, they were mocked. Yes, a couple teams backed Rangers' initiative to try and get these people investigated to make sure they're doing their jobs correctly, but no, it was shot down. And the same teams that complain now about Mr. 400 grand a year, complaining about how terrible the TV deals are, complaining about this and the non-league reconstruction, why it'll never happen, all these people that are complaining had the opportunity to make a change, and they never done it by burying their head in the sands and accepting the status quo that has continued to fail us for a very long time. And it wasn't just the obviously investigation. Obviously Rangers also put forward a couple of things and brought up a couple of discussion points regarding the record-breaking Sky Sports deal. This was it for Scottish football. We heard that they were prumming out the press. All the ins under the thumb of the Spfl chairman was out here championing what a great deal. Everybody needs to sign it. Let's not read it. Let's not read into it. Let's just sign it, people. And we just wanted just a wee couple minutes to catch our breath and actually look at it and explore other options. But again, we were laughed at, people, and the Sky Sports deal was done and this record-breaking deal was delivered. Now, of course, it is actually a record-breaking deal for Scottish football, but that's because there was normally crumbs on the table for us. When you actually compare it to the rest of the leagues in the world, the deal we signed is genuinely embarrassing when you compare it to the other leagues. And no, I'm not talking about the top 10 leagues in the world. I'm going to read out a couple names, people, and a couple of values of the countries that are getting better TV deals for their football than us right now. In the top 20 leagues around, people, Scottish football sits 16th on that chart. So of course you're losing against the likes of the Premier League, the League One with PSG, you're losing against Italian football and that, right? You can accept all that and understand there's going to be a hell of a lot of money in there because of the money that gets splashed, the players that they're able to bring in. You can understand and appreciate that, but when you actually narrow in and look at this record-breaking deal, we're still earning less than Danish football, people, Norwegian football, Greek football, Polish football, and gimme Hollander at midnight Swedish football as well, people. That's right, all those leagues earn more money from TV deals than our one right here. And again, I'm probably going to sound biased here, but we have the Old Firm, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest derbies in the world, and I don't even think that's coming from a place of bias. It is. People know that fixture. People go out their way to watch that fixture, yet we have undersold our league that horribly that we are sitting 16th out of 20 behind the likes of Sweden, Norway, Greek, Polish, and of course Denmark. And listen, I'm not sitting here being disrespectful and everything to any other organisations, but I'm being annoyed at the fact that we are being disrespectful from the way that we've undersold our league. And it's not even just the fact that it's the Old Firm. Right, you've also got the Edinburgh Derby there as well with Hearts and Hibs. They've got a fantastic range of sport. There's derbies in this league, there's storylines in this league, but do we act and pretend or sell it like there is? No, people. And it's backed up by the cold hard facts that we sit 16th 20. Can I just point out, by the way, we're only 0.4 million above Romanian football. We'd be even lower. The rest of them that I've mentioned, the Swedens and all, they're about 15, 16 million. Norway is double what we actually get right now. Is anyone actually going to address and acknowledge the fact that that is absolutely incredible? And what's worse, people, is that is public knowledge, that is able to be seen. And what's actually happened is we went ahead and signed an extension of this deal, an extending record-breaking deal with Sky that's got better terms, no longer showing 48 games in the SPFL. There's now an opportunity to show 60. Look, everybody, let's celebrate, let's clap all this. But wait a minute, people, Sky was supposed to show 48 games in the previous deal. They didn't fulfill that quota. They only showed 41. So in what stretch of the imagination do you think they're going to sit here and put 60 games of Scottish football on the telly when they didn't even want to do 48, people? Can we all acknowledge that? Can we acknowledge the fact that not too long ago, people, on a Wednesday night, we had Celtic playing Hearts. That's first versus third, wasn't shown on the telly. We had second place Rangers versus Hibs, who at that time I believe were fourth in the league, was also not shown on the telly. Both games were completely ignored by Sky. Yet I'm supposed to sit here and clap and applaud the hard work and effort of Mr. 400k a year for going out here and getting us this deal. No, it's nonsense, people. And this extension that we've signed to 2029 is genuinely looking like invisible handcuffs right now, especially as big hitters. You've probably seen it at the boxing organisation. They're all coming out here. They want to bid. They want to buy the rights to show leagues. They want to spend a lot of money. They want to splash a lot of money in here to start being able to show the rights of football. Again, it's no Scottish football because we're tied up to 2029 in a horrible contract. People that in a couple of years' time will be absolutely laughed and mocked at worse than what this is right now, people. That's what's scary. It's not just about right now. We have been so short-sighted in extending this deal to 2029 and for 6 years, people. In a year or two, with the organisations and the companies that are actually out here now want to get into football and want to show the amount of games, even the 3 p.m. games. That's what's getting talked about right now. We won't have any of that because we've signed up to 2029 and the 16th worst deal in the old leagues. Which again I think plays a big part in why my sympathy of this argument and this conversation point about there's no money in Scottish football. Well, no wonder people, when the people in charge of the clubs in this country buried their head in the sands, put their jacksies up in the air and allowed this to go and happen. It's embarrassing, and it's not getting any better. It's significantly getting worse. And that leads me to my next talking point as well, because there's a lot of talk now about league reconstruction. I know Michael Beale's spoken about it. I'm sure Ange has probably spoken about it before and that as well. I know Lee Johnson spoke about it. And that there's been a couple people coming out here recently and discussing it, and it's been asked in the press. But I didn't get lost in any of that nonsense, because I realise the cold hard facts that we will never, ever, ever see this league reconstructed, updated and brought in to the light, adding more teams and adding more variety that could possibly want more eyes into this league and every flat or TV deals or that. It's never going to happen, and you know why that is, people? Because these clubs in the top flight, the 10 other teams in this league, will not, and I mean not, sign on an agreement that takes away that old firm payday 4, 5, 6 times a season. They're never ever giving that up, and pretending and acting like they will do it is nonsense, people. That's why it's never happened. That's why the league's never been extended, and it will never ever happen, because again, short-sightedness of needing that for the old firm, needing their stadiums filled out for that, and needing that type of revenue constantly because of the way this league is actually running. Again, I'm not sitting here being heartless. I know there's a lot of good people out there, and they're trying their best to make things work and everything like that, but that's what it is. They just will not give that old firm payday away, people, so the league will stay the way it is, and it will stay unbelievably stale, where again you play the same teams 4, 5, 6 times a season. Look, I'm not going to go here and discuss the split. Everyone knows my thoughts and opinions on the split. The fact that 7th, 8th and 9th in the league can have more points than 3rd and 4th and 5th is genuinely embarrassing, people, but that's Scottish football, and it's never ever changing because of short-sightedness and making wrong decisions when we're given opportunities to actually make them, that we have done over the last couple of years, but we wasted all them. And I just wanted to voice my opinion very briefly, because I keep getting commented, what do you think about league reconstruction? It's never happening, because the teams will not give away the old firm payday. And that's sort of the money conversation I want to have. Again, I didn't even mean to spend this long actually on it, but I wanted to kind of discuss my thoughts and opinions on it and everything like that, and say a lot of the way we actually are is self-inflicted. And look, I'm not talking about the fans. I think Hearts have got a great away support. I've seen Aberdeen take a lot of people, even though we didn't like them, and everything like that right here on the channel. There's a lot of good guys out there, and a lot of fans that travel and follow and pay money into their club and go absolutely everywhere for their club, but they are being let down by the people above them, the ones that can actually make a change, people. They've been given the opportunity, they haven't taken it. So the fact that we are where we are is completely self-inflicted. And again, it's no because of the fans, it's no because of me and thee, it's the yins that can actually make a change, and they've not done it. And it's a real shame, people, because the only people getting hurt by all this is all the fans that want to see things get better and want to see their team given more opportunities. There's great support in the Championship and lower level. They want to be given an opportunity and more of a pathway in to the top flight to add it and everything like that, and an opportunity to say, right, if that's up on the horizon, maybe we can get a wee bit more investors, maybe we can get a wee bit more money, maybe we can start to invest more in the squad. If that's the goal, if there's more teams in the top flight, there's more of an opportunity to thrive and earn money. Let's back it then and give the fans what they want. But it will never happen, because league reconstruction will never happen either, in terms of increasing the amount of teams in the old top flight. But moving away from that conversation, because I want to take the money off the table, and I want to actually talk about the product itself. And I'm going to talk about something that's probably controversial and it'll probably get me shouted at, but before I get to the real meat and tatties of my issue, and I want to break down the points totals and the records that both teams could break this season and everything like that, before we get to that, I want to talk about the 5 sub rule. Yes, there's maybe a lot of people pause the video to shout at me right now, but for me, and this is just me, people, I think the 5 sub rule has been the final nail in the old Spfl's products coffin. And I've seen this fiercely debated before, because I have mentioned my problems, or I didn't think it was really the best idea going forward, and I go a wee bit of flack for it, then I'll probably get it again. But I just think when you've got teams, again, with the limited budgets and have budgies, or maybe they've got budgies as well, who actually knows, people, but budgets, when you've got them battling, fighting, tooth and nail, with the likes of Celtic, for instance, let's go with Celtic rather than always just talk about Rangers, when you've got teams digging in there, maybe they've got them at a draw, maybe they've got an opportunity to nick a point, which is absolutely massive for them, they've gave everything for 60 minutes, they ran their absolute heart out, and then they lift their heads and watch Celtic go ahead and make 5 changes, bringing on £10 million worth of talent, which again doesn't sound a lot for maybe the Premier League or Italian football or Spanish football, but here £10 million worth of talent is a hell of a lot of money, especially against the likes of what they're playing week in and week out. When you're able to bring on the likes of the Jotas, the Giamakis, when he was here, he came on and just seemed to score all the time. You got now coming in there, and I do believe that's how you pronounce it, and again I'm not going to go through their whole team, but they'll have got real talent and a real attacking talent. You're lifting your head up and you're watching them make 5 changes, people. They're able to change 50% of the outfield players on that actual part with ridiculously amounts of talent, and it's no wonder to me that Celtic just blow teams away in the second half. You look at it and people say, oh, it's this, or this team can't do it, or it's crap. No, Celtic are blowing teams away in second halves of games, and I think a lot of that is down to the likes of the substitutions, and that's where the sympathy comes back when you look at the managers, because look what they have to deal with. They've got their best of the best out there on the park as it is, and again there is such a gulf when you look at it, and then you're seeing over 50% of the outfield players getting chimed for players equally as good or slightly better, especially with the likes of Jota and everything like that. Point of view in terms of who's playing there ahead of Celtic. It's just one of those things that it's never ever going to work right, and it's no surprise to me that Celtic blow teams away in the second half. They've always got that extra gear. That's why I didn't pay attention. If it's 1-1 at the 50th minute, it'll be 4-1 by the 90. If you didn't believe me, people, look at the actual stats. They've won 27 of their 29 games that they've played. They've had 1 draw versus us, where, guess what? Yes, they scored another goal to get back into that game. Their only loss was a fluke sort of win versus St Mirren, and again, I'm not taking anything away from them, but that was an anomaly if you actually look at the season, because Celtic sit with 29 games played with a ridiculous 72 goal difference, people. 72! It's frightening, and there's no wonder they didn't drop points. There's no wonder or anything like these teams are getting blown away in the second half or laying down. They're not laying down, they're just getting their absolute chests rid of them, because again, which I think a lot of that is down to the 5 sub rule. And look, I'm not sitting saying, oh, this, it would be dropping points left, right and centre, but I think there's more of an opportunity when it was at 3, when you can only change 3 players, and sometimes they'd only change 2 because you have to keep one for a potential sub. But when you can make 5 changes and change 50% of the outfield players, for me, when you've already got the golfing class, it's just too much. And it's why when you look at Celtic, and when you look even Rangers this season, who I remind you, people, sacked their manager this season because they had some poor results. Rangers sit in second in the league, right, which is last to us, but look, give me a second. They sit in second right now, right, with 73 points. Hearts in third, who I actually like what Hearts have done since they came up the Championship. Give you a wee brief sort of thing. I like the players that they brought in. I think they've got good players. I like the way they go about their business. I like the way their fans support them every way they go. That's a good side right there for me, right? And it should be a tricky side. But when you look at them coming up against Rangers and Celtic, they get absolutely torn to shreds, people. I mean, they are 28 points behind Rangers in third place. 28. There is 9 games left to actually play. See if Rangers lost every single game left of the league season and Hearts won every single game of the season, Hearts would still finish third, people. How messed up and embarrassing is that? That shows you what the Spfl actually is. Rangers have sacked the manager, yet can lose the last 9 games and still finish second. It's crazy, people. But to go even deeper, when you start looking at the point totals, Rangers with 73 points, say they win all the last games, right? That's 9 times 3, which is 27, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, if my math is actually correctly. That puts them on 100 points, people. That's the standard of the SPFL this season. Rangers could finish this league season with 100 points. Can I remind you, when we won the league undefeated under Steven Gerrard, we had 102 points. Yet we could hit 100 and finish second. That's the gulf in actual class that there actually is in this league. In fact, you know what? To put it into more context, people, to really show you that this league is dying right now, let's look at the other league titles that we won, the previous ones and everything like that, right? So let's take Gerrard off the table. Let's put it to one side. Going back to Sir Walter Smith when he won the 3 league titles in a row, right? Let's look at that little short sample size right there. We won the league with 86 points, 87 points, and a whopping 93 points, which was massive at that point. Yeah, people, those are 3-point totals that we could eclipse this season, yet still finish second. When I tell you this league is dying, people, I really mean it. The golfing class between Rangers and Celtic and the rest of this league has never been bigger, and the standard of this league has never been worse when you look at it from that aspect, because both Rangers and Celtic, if they continue the way that they've been playing, yes, I know they play each other twice, but for this point of argument, let's just say Rangers wins both of them. Or even if you want to look at it the other way, both teams could go ahead and win out and reach a point total that would have won 22 of the last 25 SPFL league titles. When I tell you this league is on its knees, people, I really mean it. And again, a lot of that is self-inflicted. We had opportunities, we had chances, we signed a deal with the devil, we protected the guy who's strangling the life out this game. There's barely any crumbs for any other team to actually improve and actually add some things, and it's not going to get better. Now we're tied into 2029. This golf you're seeing, this massive, where teams like Celtic are winning 27 out of the 29 games, Rangers sacking a manager yet still being 28 points clear of third place, isn't going to be an anomaly where it's going to happen this year and it's all going to be different this year? No, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, where you're going to get to a point where, again, I think Rangers and Celtic are only going to start taking points off each other, because that's the way it's probably actually going to go, and that's the way that this league is built. Now again, I know it's been a 2-horse race for a long time, but if you look at point totals, if you look at teams dropping and all that, it's never been worse than it has been this season when you take the top 2 and you compare it to the rest of the league. So I just wanted to voice my opinion on a lot of things in the standard of the SPFL, because obviously when I'm in the preview mode and the prediction modes and everything like that, I don't really have time to actually reflect on the overall league. But again, I like Scottish football, believe it or not. I talk about it a lot when I go down and I meet these English YouTubers. I talk us up, I talk Scottish football. But it's painful when they bring up the European argument and that, right enough. But aye, people, it's just on its absolute knees, and I think it's only going to get worse. I just wanted to voice my opinion on it, answer some questions that I've had over the last year, and now that this is all about reconstruction leagues and TV deals and the boxing company coming out here and going to splash some money and maybe pay the championship off to make them skyrocket. Just wanted to take all of that, cram into a video and give you my thoughts and opinions. But now I hand the reins over to you guys. What's your genuine thoughts on the SPFL? Do you have any fixes in it, or do you think it's only going to continue to get worse while the idiots are in charge of our game, dragging our game down, which again, for me, is something that needed to be changed. It has been for a little while. They didn't take the opportunity, so you make your bed, you lie in it, and that's what we're seeing right now. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's me discuss Scottish football as a whole. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, or shout at me and tell me I'm completely wrong or ignorant because of the finance. I get it, people. I give every fan of every club in this country a hell of a lot of respect for following it everywhere you go, especially some of the standard of football you need to watch when they come up against the Old Firm. It must be absolutely brutal to absolutely watch, people. But again, they've had opportunities to get rid of the leeches that sucks the blood out of this game and keeps us at a level that shouldn't be, where we're earning 50% less from TV money than Norway, people. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't get it. But that's me, had my say. I'm going to wrap up today's video now by saying thank you so much for watching. I've been Siege over 92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.